At Steel Peak Wealth, the strategy goes beyond the game. We build a plan that lasts longer than the match. Everything we do begins and ends with the life you want to build. We treat your goals as our own. We never lose focus. And we craft something most firms can't. A plan designed entirely around you. A wealth management experience as sophisticated and goal-driven as you are. It's time for Steel Peak.
Most people don't have a financial system. They have financial habits. Some good, some bad, mostly reactive. They pay bills when they come due. They save when there's something left over. They invest when they remember to. They review their situation when they're forced to by a big expense or a tax deadline. That's not a system. That's financial drift. And it explains why so many people who earn good incomes never build the wealth they should have. Today, I'm going to show you what a real personal financial system looks like and how to build one that actually runs itself. I've spent 25 years helping people manage and build serious wealth, and one of the first things I evaluate with any new client is not just what they own, it's how they manage their financial life. The people who arrive with the best outcomes almost always have systems in place, not complicated systems, clean, simple ones. The complexity is in the structure you build once. After that, it runs. And I want to be clear about why this matters so much, because it's not obvious. I have seen people earning $200,000 a year with almost nothing to show for it, and I have seen people earning $80,000 who quietly became millionaires. The difference is almost never income. It's almost always whether they had a system. Let me start with the foundation concept, which I call the financial cockpit. Just like a pilot needs a clear view of their instruments to fly safely, you need a clear view of your financial key metrics at all times. The cockpit contains just a few numbers: your net worth, your monthly cash flow, your investment account balances, and your savings rate. That's it. Everything else is detail. If you can see those four numbers at any moment and understand whether they're moving in the right direction, you're ahead of most people. The goal of your financial system is to keep those numbers moving positively and automatically, with minimal active management on your part. Notice what's not in there is the day-to-day noise. Whether the market was up or down today, what one particular stock did, those things feel urgent, but they're not the instruments that keep you flying level. The first piece of the system is cash flow architecture. This means setting up your banking structure in a way that money flows where it's supposed to go automatically, without requiring a decision each time. Here's how I recommend structuring it. Your income lands in a primary checking account. From that account, an automatic transfer happens on the day after your paycheck arrives. A set amount moves to a dedicated savings account, and another amount moves to a designated investment account. The bill payments are set up on auto pay from the primary account. You live on what remains. The sequence is: income arrives, savings and investments leave immediately, everything else comes from what's left. This structure means saving and investing happen before spending, not after. Why does the sequence matter so much? Because of a simple truth about human behavior. We spend what's in front of us. If your full paycheck lands in your checking account and you tell yourself you'll save whatever's left at the end of the month, the honest answer is that very little will be left, because spending expands to fill the available balance. But if 20% of that paycheck is gone the day after it arrives, moved automatically into savings and investments before you've had a chance to see it as spendable, you simply adjust your living to the amount that remains, and you barely feel it. This is the single most powerful structural change most people can make, and it costs nothing but an afternoon of setting up transfers. Pay yourself first isn't a motivational slogan, it's a plumbing decision. The second piece is your budget, but I want to reframe what a budget actually is. Most people think of a budget as a restrictive document that tracks every coffee and every restaurant meal. That's not useful. A real budget is a cash flow plan at the category level. How much goes to housing? How much to transportation? How much to food and entertainment? How much to savings and investment? At that level, the numbers tell you whether your income and spending are structured for wealth building or wealth erosion. If housing, transportation, and food are consuming 85% of your income, you have a structural problem regardless of how you manage the details. The category level view lets you see the structural issues and address them. Let me make that concrete. Housing is the number that quietly determines most people's financial trajectory because it's the largest line item and the hardest to change quickly. If your housing cost is 30% of your take-home pay, you have room to build wealth. If it's 50%, you're going to struggle no matter how disciplined you are about the small stuff, because the large stuff has already eaten your margin. This is why I tell people not to obsess over the daily latte. The latte is not your problem. The house and the car are your problem, because those are the decisions that lock in years of fixed cost. Get the big three right: housing, transportation, and the cost of how you live day to day, and the small decisions take care of themselves. The third piece is the net worth tracker. I recommend updating your net worth monthly. It takes about 10 minutes. List all your assets, investment accounts, retirement accounts, cash, real estate equity, any business interests. List all liabilities, mortgage balance, car loans, student loans, credit card balances. Subtract liabilities from assets. That's your net worth. Tracking it monthly does two things. First, it keeps you connected to the actual progress you're making. Second, it makes problem areas visible before they become crises. If your liabilities are growing faster than your assets month over month, the trend line tells you before you're in real trouble. And there's a third benefit people don't expect. Watching that single number climb month after month is genuinely motivating. It turns the abstract idea of building wealth into a concrete line that moves. The months where it jumps because the market did well feel great. The months where you added to it through sheer discipline feel even better because you know that one was you. The fourth piece is the annual review. Once a year, I do mine in January. I do a full audit of my financial position. I review my investment allocations and rebalance as needed. I check my insurance coverage and make sure it still reflects my current situation. I review beneficiary designations. I look at my estate planning documents and confirm nothing needs updating. I review my tax situation with my CPA to plan for the year ahead. I assess my saving rate and adjust it if my income has changed. The annual review is where you make the structural decisions that keep your system current with your life. And let me emphasize the beneficiary point because it's the one people skip and it's the one that causes real damage. I have seen retirement accounts passed to an ex-spouse because the owner never updated the form after a divorce. The will said one thing, the beneficiary designation said another, and the beneficiary designation wins. 10 minutes once a year prevents that. The fifth piece, and this is one most people overlook, is an annual spending audit. This is separate from budgeting. Once a year, I look at every recurring subscription, service, and fee I'm paying. What's still providing value? What have I been paying for out of inertia? Insurance policies, software subscriptions, club memberships, streaming services. These costs add up and they change over time. The average person is paying for multiple things they don't actually use. An annual spending audit typically finds hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars in annual costs that aren't generating value. Redirect that money to savings or investment, and remember what a recurring cost really is. It's a small decision you made once that keeps charging you forever until you stop it. $40 a month feels trivial, but $40 a month invested over 30 years is a meaningful sum. The audit isn't about being cheap. It's about making sure every dollar leaving your accounts is buying something you actually value. The sixth piece is automation of your investments. Every investment account should have automatic contributions scheduled. Your 401k comes out pre-tax before you even see it. Your Roth IRA should have a monthly automatic contribution from your checking account. Your taxable brokerage account should have its own scheduled transfer. When investing is automatic, it happens consistently regardless of how busy life is, regardless of market conditions, regardless of whether you feel motivated that month. Behavioral consistency is worth more than any amount of investment intelligence. In fact, automation solves the single most expensive mistake investors make, which is trying to time the market based on how they feel. When the market drops and fear is highest, the automatic contribution keeps buying at lower prices, which is exactly when you want to be buying. The system does the rational thing precisely in the moments when your emotions would have you do the opposite. Let me share something about how I manage my own financial life. Despite being a wealth manager with deep expertise, I don't rely on my own motivation to drive my financial behavior. The transfers happen automatically. The rebalancing triggers I've set are systematic. The annual review is calendared months in advance, not because I'm lazy, but because I've learned that removing the need for active decision-making removes the biggest source of error in personal finance, which is human inconsistency. The best system is one that doesn't need you to remember it. I trust the structure I built in a clear-headed moment far more than I trust the version of myself that's tired, busy, or rattled by a bad week in the market. The seventh piece is professional accountability. A good financial advisor isn't just an investment manager. They're a second set of eyes on your whole financial system. They catch the things you miss. They ask the questions that prompt you to update documents and plans you've let slide. They keep you disciplined in market turbulence when your emotions are telling you to do something reactive. At Steel Peak, we function as a financial quarterback for our clients, coordinating the investment management, the tax planning, the estate planning, and the insurance review into a coherent whole. That kind of holistic oversight catches the gaps that siloed professionals miss. The CPA optimizes for taxes, the attorney optimizes for the estate, the insurance agent optimizes for coverage, and nobody is looking at how all of it fits together until something falls through one of the seams. The quarterback's job is to watch the seams. Here's what I want you to take away. Your financial system doesn't need to be complicated. It needs to be intentional. Set up the cash flow architecture so money moves where it should automatically. Track your net worth monthly. Review your full picture annually. Automate your investments. Get the right professionals involved. Then let the system run. I want to leave you with a reframe that I find genuinely motivating. Most people approach their finances as a series of individual decisions. Should I invest this month? Should I buy or rent? Should I take this job? But once you have a system in place, most of those decisions are already made. The system answers them. The transfer happens automatically. The rebalancing triggers. The annual review surfaces anything that needs a real decision. What this means is that having a good financial system actually reduces the cognitive burden of managing your money, not increases it. You spend less time worrying about finances because the system is handling it. That freedom, the mental space reclaimed from financial uncertainty, is one of the most underrated benefits of getting this right. The most powerful financial decisions aren't the ones made in exciting moments of opportunity. They're the systems built in ordinary moments of clarity that keep running long after you've stopped thinking about them. Build the system once. Let it compound for decades. That's how financial lives are transformed.